One podcast. I'm your host, Jason Flake. I'm here with my co host, Lance Reynolds,
What up, though?
aka the People's Champ. Man, first of all, I would be remiss, man, if I did not thank everybody who has been hitting the pages,
Yes, yes.
all of the social sites, um, supporting the YouTube shorts, supporting the YouTube lives, all of the videos that we putting up. Y'all been excellent, wonderful. We thank you very, very much, man. Please keep hitting the page, keep liking, keep subscribing. Um, we getting the numbers up, and we got so many exciting things coming down the line, coming down the pike. So y'all just bear with us, and we appreciate all of the support. Um, none
Thanks,
of
y'all.
none of it is possible without all of you. Um, Getting into this week in sports
Yes,
because
sir.
it's been eventful. Uh, I want to start with the play-in tournament. I know you love the play-in tournament. I'm
You got
actually
jokes early, huh?
I'm actually a fan of the play-in tournament.
I know.
I enjoy the play-in tournament. You know, these last four games have done nothing to support my argument about the play-in tournament because three out of the four of them have been terrible. But I do like that it keeps more teams playing hard down the stretch of the season. Not necessarily that I love 20 teams being out of 30 teams being in contention for the playoffs because we all know that that's not real contention, but I like that it keeps teams playing hard, pushing for that 10th spot. But I get your impressions of the games.
Yeah.
The first two, Magic versus Hawks. Magic beat the Hawks 120-95, and Warriors defeated the Grizzlies 121-116.
Yeah, I mean, nothing like manufactured competitive fervor. Get out of here with this play-in mess. But nonetheless, I digress. Um, you know. But yeah, Orlando and Atlanta.
Mhm.
I mean, that was the annual Cole Anthony game.
Yep, right. Right.
You
20,
know,
26 points off the bench for Cole
I,
Anthony.
I mean, but I like Cole.
I do
Cole
too.
Cole plays hard. He's a good defender
Yep.
in the backcourt. He can guard smaller threes,
Yeah.
both positions in the backcourt. Um, he's a real solid rebounder
Yeah.
for a guard his
Yeah. For a
size.
guy. Yeah.
And some games, he'll get hot.
Yep.
I mean, he doesn't have the most reliable jumper, but I mean, he's athletic.
Hmm.
Which again I think lends to his defense.
Yep.
And good for him. Paolo came on a little bit late.
Yeah.
Him and
Franz.
Franz Wagner, they kind of hit some big shots down the stretch.
Yeah.
And I mean Atlanta. I mean, I think Trey Young's meltdown kind of just symbolizes, just how frustrated. I mean, they get rid of his, their second best player.
Right. Yeah.
They're probably, would you say, best overall defender?
Oh, DeAndre Hunter.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You
He's
know,
certainly the best perimeter
yeah,
defender.
yeah.
I think Clint Capella,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't want to.
when healthy,
Yeah,
what I'm saying,
exactly.
is an excellent rim protector, backline
Right,
defender. But yeah, DeAndre Hunter was certainly their best perimeter
right.
defender.
So, I
I
mean,
don't think there's a question about that.
there's that. Then when buried at the beginning of the season, they get rid of Murray.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Delonte. Yeah.
So it's just like, I get it. I
Yep. And
mean,
then Jalen Johnson gets hurt.
Jalen Johnson gets hurt.
He has a season-ending
And
injury. So it's been a frustrating year for the
and
Hawks.
and then on top of that, in terms, I guess, like the media and coaches, they don't really seem to got love for Trey. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of that may have just kind of culminated with him having that moment,
Hmm.
there. And I think he may be somebody you may want to watch
Yeah.
down the line. If Atlanta doesn't throw him, a sizable, extension, which
Contract.
everybody seems to be doing now. They're kind of locking up their guys. It seems like
Yeah.
on these 2 3 year, max dumb extensions,
Right.
you know. And as for Golden State and the Grizzlies,
Yeah.
I mean, the play-in on the West is basically like the Warriors Invitational.
Right.
Like at this point, like they like it had been like every other year. It's like, all right, man, we got to find a way to like keep Steph Curry in the playoffs
Yeah.
or LeBron in the playoffs as much as we possibly can.
Sure. Yeah.
And I mean, the Warriors kind of, well, ain't no kind of, they did it to themselves by blowing that game the week prior to the Spurs at home
Yep.
on the Harrison Barnes buzzer beater,
Mm-hmm.
and then they compounded it with the
Lost to the
loss to the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
However, if they had played the Spurs with the effort that they played against the
Yeah,
Clippers,
they'd have blown the Spurs out.
yeah, because the Clippers game, it kind of came down to free throws and a lot of missed layups.
Yep.
You know, so there's that, and a lot of people will say in reference to the Grizzlies, if Ja didn't get hurt.
Right. Yeah. He turned the ankle. Yep.
But I mean, it's kind of becoming a running theme that when there's a big game or a playoff series or some, heavy postseason stakes,
Yeah.
Ja's hurt or Ja's physically compromised. He's either coming back from an injury or he can't go all the way or because he's risking re-injury or it's something or he's just out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Or he's just flat out not playing. So I can't really take that as an excuse where, if Ja was hurt. It'd be different if it was a one-off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If he had like the record of like say a Miles Bridges.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But Ja being hurt in a postseason game or, a game with high stakes, it's kind of
par for the course.
Yeah. So there's that. So, tomorrow night, I guess there's the fight for the eighth seed, which is again the fight for the eighth seed.
The fight to stick your head in the lion's mouth.
Yeah, pretty much. So.
And then last night, the Heat they defeated the Bulls 109-90. Mavs defeated the Kings 120-106. We had a Anthony Davis sighting. Yeah, 27-9. He actually got the ball up.
Good on you, AD. Good. Hey, listen, first of all, I may have to play. What's Klay Thompson's number and AD number?
What is Klay Thompson? Is
he 11 or something like that or 31? I got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Because it was a Klay Thompson sighting and an AD sighting.
I know, right? Yeah.
That's like, man, what? Put them two numbers together and parlay that.
Yeah,
because that I don't know if that's happening again.
Tyler Hero went crazy, hit his first 8 shots, ended 13-19.
Yeah, he went nuts.
My impression of the play-in tournament, especially watching those first 4 games, and of course we got the finales tomorrow night.
The fight for 8.
Right. I wrote down 2 words: coaching mismatch.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of coaching mismatches. Now I want to get your opinion about the Memphis Grizzlies. They fired Taylor Jenkins with 9 games left to go in the season. I believe they were the 4th or 5th seed.
They were fighting for 3.
Yeah.
So at some point back in like January, I was like around the All-Star break, they were like fighting for 3.
I think they were. They might have technically been in 5, but they were like it was like a tie with the 4th seed.
Yep.
And now since firing him, they've slid into the play-in. They're 1 game away from being out of the playoffs entirely. And what about the 5-second call with 5 seconds left to go in a 1-possession game? Is that coaching? Could that be looked at as a coaching blunder? I don't know what he drew up. In fairness, it could be on the player, but
I think if we're gonna go like lowbrow, easy money,
right,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now, I mean, if I think again, if Ja's healthy, Ja gets open.
Probably.
You get what I'm saying?
I mean, he was on the floor.
Yeah, but I mean, his lateral movement is severely
Yep,
compromised.
because of the
when you step on some, when you get Ja.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think, I mean, that kind of plays into it. But again, your coach has to be able to coach around that and
Yeah,
outside of
I
that
was gonna say he's
and
got
be
to take
aware of
that
that.
into account.
I,
Yeah,
I
like okay,
understood,
Ja is hurt. As much as
understood.
he's our star, and we want him to get the last shot. His mobility might not allow him to get open, and we
And
don't have any more
right,
timeouts where we could say, okay, we getting toward the 5 seconds. Let's take another
but
timeout. So,
you and I know it all sounds great when they say break.
hmm yeah, yeah,
You know,
exactly. Yeah, everything
but
sounds
yeah,
good.
I mean, but I agree to your point though. It was a lot of coaching mismatches. You can just kind
Yeah.
of see it. You
Yeah, I
know.
think I think that for the most part, Mosley and Quinn Snyder are fairly evenly matched.
Mhm.
But I just think Orlando is better than Atlanta, and like with the
Yeah, they're
Jalen
just a
Johnson,
better. Yeah, they're a better
yeah, they
team.
just
They're more
better.
cohesive,
Yeah,
and yeah,
they
they're a
defense
better
is
team.
better.
Yeah,
They a lot longer at every position. They got
they can score on
KCP.
more levels.
Yeah, they got
Yeah, for
KCP,
sure.
who's probably the best perimeter defender between the two teams. I mean,
Well,
so they have more depth. I just think that they're just a better team.
yeah,
So I don't know that that was as much of a coaching mismatch
and
as it was a mismatch.
to your point, uh, buddy of mine the other day was asking about my opinion on the Miami Chicago matchup.
Hmm
I said, bro, I'm gonna just roll with Spo. Period.
Right. That's a coaching mismatch. For as good as Billy
How?
Donovan
But
is,
how does Billy Donovan keep a job at Chicago? Like, have you seen the Bulls' record like the last 5 years?
hey man,
I mean, it's pretty bad.
yeah,
And like, you got coaches like, speaking of
and
coaches
he
getting
going to the
fired
Hall of
left or
Fame.
right, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, Billy Donovan's
he's
going
being
along.
inducted in the Hall of Fame this year.
And it's like, to your point, where you have um, championship contending coaches or young, promising coaches,
Right.
getting fired, and especially this season at real awkward points of the season,
Yeah. Right.
or
I think Mike
some,
Malone was like, was it 3 games
yeah,
in?
you
Oh
get
yeah,
me.
it was very bizarre.
So you look at somebody like Billy Donovan, who, when you look at his NBA resume,
Yeah, I
it
know.
ain't nothing really
Very. It's yeah.
like
Nothing.
jumping out at you where
No.
it's like, you know what, that guy,
Yeah. He's
you
right
know,
there. He on
he's
the
a,
verge of doing
he's a,
something great.
like he's a builder, or, I don't, so, I wonder about that. Or, if the Bulls just, on that tip where it's like, he checks our boxes,
Right.
you know,
And we not ready to try to make the next strides
yeah,
yet because maybe we want to try to get a lottery pick.
right,
We want to try to
right.
get the guy here that we can build
Yeah.
around.
But it's just funny, you like, because you mentioned the coaches, and,
Yeah.
and I was just like, man, this dude
Yeah.
is out here slicking his way through. And
But
I
no,
know
but you're
slick is
right
not a
though.
real word, but
No, but you're right though. I looked at that too. I'm like, yeah. First of all, yeah, the coaching matchup. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna take Spolstra.
yeah, for sure.
He's gonna have his guys ready, even on the road.
Yeah.
I thought that, and then, getting to the last game. I mean, Jason Kidd over Doug Christie. I'm like, Doug Christie. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
I think he's a good guy and all of that. Um,
Another roster that got wrecked, and
yeah,
not wrecked, but I mean, a lot of upheaval.
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yep, and yeah, they could probably, they probably need a point guard. And
Probably.
yeah, right.
I
They need a
probably
point
need
guard.
to eat better.
But yeah, I think that there's some things missing from the Kings roster.
Mhm.
But mainly, I thought that Jason Kidd I thought he did a good job with the big lineup.
I like DeRozan there.
Yeah, I do too.
Zach Levine's shown himself well. I
Yeah.
mean, he always seemed to love to just get busy against the Pistons.
It's just not enough perimeter
Yeah.
defense
And
on the team. They need a really good two-way point guard.
and
Bad.
and offensively, when we're talking interior,
Hmm
they need a little more consistency.
Yeah, well, yeah. That
Like some nights, Domantas Sabonis just kind of just, where it's like, I'm okay if he's gonna focus on being a facilitator, especially if uh Zach and DeMar are going off.
yeah.
And he's such a gifted passer where I'm okay if he's having nights where it's like, you know, 10, 12, 13, 14, and he's got, 9. high
Man,
assists.
you about to get me in trouble going down this
Like,
road.
no, I'm trying not to, but I because I really am just trying to speak on it in
I have a
terms of,
very controversial
but
point of view,
you
but
know what I
I
mean.
don't want to
But
interrupt your thought though.
but it's like he have a lot of games where he's put too much tape out there with him being, like near dominant,
Yeah.
like where he like numbers super gaudy
Hmm.
and when he's playing physical. And then he counters it where, he'll just have like a 10,
Yeah.
6,
Right.
and 7 and 2.
Well, let me say, in fairness to Domantas Sabonis, Dallas is very big,
Yeah.
and Anthony Davis is one of the best interior defenders ever.
But DeMontis Sabonis typically eats
Does
Anthony Davis up.
Yeah, he does well, but with that extra big
Yeah,
and
that's fair.
Anthony Davis
That's fair.
playing in position now,
That's fair.
I think that changed the dynamic. That was one of the things that I thought Jason Kidd did extremely well.
Yeah, use
When
use
they tried to
Gafford
go
and the other big
small,
bodies. Yeah.
he went big. And I don't understand why that has not been the strategy all along.
Jason Kidd loves going big because you got to remember he was like the second gen big guard
Yeah,
after Magic and before
right.
Penny hit for you young folk.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
most
So
definitely. Most
Kidd,
definitely.
people forget he was the first guy that kind of unlocked Giannis.
Yeah.
When Giannis first started to show
Ascend, yeah.
some real promise, that was Jason Kidd being willing to put the ball in his hands and kind of showcase that, this kid isn't just a gimmick guy. He's
Right.
got real ball skills, and he's a good decision maker with the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
So it's interesting you point that up because it shows, his consistent, way of thinking when it comes to,
No, I'm gonna
the type of lineups he likes.
I'm gonna just lob this grenade and then we can move on. For all of the Nikola Jokic people,
Mm.
for
Mhm.
all of the people who like the European style, I'm gonna lob this grenade and then we can come. We'll talk about
You
this
about to go
another
G.I.
day.
Joe right
Yeah,
quick?
I don't need 10 assists from my center. Don't need it.
But I mean,
I'm one of them.
but when you're a 3-point shooting
I'm old school,
team,
bro. Don't need it. Don't need 10 assists from my center, especially if
where
my
you're talking
center
ideally, I mean, I
if
get
my
it.
center is capable of scoring 60 points. Nah, don't need 10 assists. Nope. Especially if my center has no all-star
Right.
teammates, no all NBA teammates, no all defense. You don't yo these
Well,
ain't
the
the
thing is,
teammates.
if your center's getting 60 points, he's probably going to get 10 or more assists
Well,
because
yeah,
they're throwing everything at the kitchen
that's
sink at him.
that's true. That's true. But I don't I don't need Kareem was getting 60 points and
I
he
mean,
never had 10 assists.
but he had Magic.
Well, that's but even before
I
Magic,
mean, but you got to look even with Shaq. Shaq in the playoffs was a pretty high assist guy for a center.
he was a good assist guy. I don't need 10 assists a game. I don't need gaudy assist numbers from my center. And I know that that's controversial because everybody loves Jokic. He's got won
Oh,
3
yeah.
out of the last 4 MVP. I'm like, but to
You're more
me,
of an Embiid type of guy.
I mean,
When he's healthy,
when
of
he's
course.
healthy,
When he's healthy, of course.
but my thinking is that those kinds of guys get too unselfish at times,
Mm.
especially at the 5 spot. That's a hard position to be the facilitator from and play good transition defense and get back and get it and clog the paint. And like, so I think that sometimes, and that this is why Denver is number 22 overall in defense, because it's hard to do all of that. I need my big rebounding
Mhm.
on both ends of the floor. I need him scoring in the paint. If you can step out, that's good. If you can spread the floor
But doesn't
sometime,
but doesn't losing KCP and Bruce Brown count for
that
some of
hurts.
that defense,
Absolutely. Yeah.
falling and hitting rock bottom
Yeah.
too?
I think the perimeter defense has taken a big step back.
Because now you're asking Jokic to absolutely do more
And this is
if
not,
you're giving up penetration to the paint
yeah.
defensively.
And I don't mean to pick on Jokic
No, I get what you're saying.
because I mean that for any center.
I get what you're saying. No, I,
And
I
I
understand what you're
do
coming
think that because DeMontis is not as good as Jokic,
from.
he gets caught in between sometime being a facilitator and being a scorer.
Right.
And I really don't need that conflict going on within my big, especially my best big. I don't really need you to be conflicted about what you need to do. You need to go give me a bucket.
Right. I understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, to your point,
Yeah.
like if
I'm like,
again, like if the 10 assists are coming because of sheer dominance,
yeah,
I mean, that's everybody eats.
right.
You get what I'm saying? But I understand your point where you're talking like from what you're saying. I think of someone like a Vladi, if we're
Right.
going to go back like that, like
Yeah.
someone that's going to go out and
5 assists is fine.
you know what I mean. But like they're like that's the guy that's really going to go out as a big and kind of be a facilitator.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't necessarily think Jokic is quote unquote. I don't think he's pass first. He averages 30 points a game.
He is sometimes though.
Like,
This is the thing. Like sometimes he will get into a mode where he's trying to facilitate and not trying to score.
right.
And
But they don't have a traditional point guard.
I don't need that from him though. Then find one. Then get a traditional point guard.
Okay.
I don't need.
I mean, I
don't-
get that. I mean,
yeah,
I
I'm just
understand
like
that.
I don't need. And I know that's a little controversial. And I know that, people like the European style. They like the unselfish ball movement, player movement. But I'm like, that to me, that's hard for a center to facilitate and do everything else that I need my center to do. Something's going to be lacking if you're that focused on facilitating.
I mean, I understand that.
This is just again, this
but
is
he's
a
got
very
it-
personal preference.
But he's got a championship and a Finals MVP
Of course,
to counter that.
and three out of the last 4 league MVPs. I mean, listen. I'm not telling you that Jokic is not a great player. I'm just telling
He's
you.
a championship player.
Yeah, he's big time. I'm not knocking Jokic. I don't knock Jokic. This is not about knocking Jokic because we was really talking about DeMontis Sabonis.
Right. I mean,
I'm
I think what happened is you're like trying to compare DeMontis Sabonis
No,
to Jokic,
no.
and I'm not
No.
like
There's no comparison.
I'm saying like, bro, if you're gonna go out and decide tonight, I'm gonna feed Zach and DeRozan. Do that. But don't like go out and give me 10 points and then just 5 assists.
No,
like to me, you out here just being
I need
like
to
a
know.
loiterer.
Yeah.
Like to me.
I just need to know what you're doing every
Right.
night.
And then to your point where you got AD and like you're not even doing anything to perhaps get them in foul trouble.
That's what I'm
nothing.
saying. Yeah.
Like I
you're
mean,
just being
I
too
get
passive.
yeah, I get what you're saying, but I guess I don't want you to confuse what I'm saying where I'm trying to confuse his play where I feel he should be on a tier with the Joker.
No.
You know what I mean? I just think by who he is, by nature, like who his father is.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they have
passing
that European
is just
style,
like a gift that he just has.
Yeah, he's an excellent passer.
Yeah, which means to me, it's like, okay, if you're gonna read and feel the game out tonight, then like really do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
And I think that again, because I know that we dancing between 2 points.
Right.
And so I agree with what you're saying. But that's kind of the reason why I'm like, and I'm not saying that a center should not be a good passer and that he shouldn't get some assists. I'm just like, I don't need 10.
Right. So
I don't need 10. I don't need
so
you
you
out
don't
there.
want this 10 assist Jokic triple double season to become like the bar, kind of like I get it.
Yeah,
I
that
get
to
what
me,
you're saying.
because that means some nights you got 15, 16,
I get what you're
17. You know what I'm saying? Like if you averaging 10 assists, that means that some nights you got 17, 18 assists. And that's cool, but I think that's just hard for that. There's a reason that centers have never done that before. You know what I'm saying? And it's not that he's not special and that he's not doing great things. Again, this is not a referendum on Jokic because I was speaking in general. I'm like, I don't really need my center trying to get me 10 assists. I need my center trying to get buckets, especially in a 1-game elimination. This is where I'm supporting your point of view. To me, DeMontis was caught in between all night. He was caught in between facilitating and should I attack and be a scorer?
Right.
No. Tonight we need you to attack and be a scorer. Forget about being a facilitator. And I understand
because your guys were getting theirs. They were getting theirs.
They were eating. Yeah,
Like-
they was eating.
like
they lacked front court scoring, and Dallas had it in spades. I mean, Anthony Davis ended up with 27. Gafford, I think, kicked in double digit scoring. I mean, they played extremely well in the front court.
Najee Marshall.
Yeah, Yeah, definitely. So at any rate, I don't want to belabor that. I ain't mean to turn that into a
Oh man,
European-centered
no,
discussion.
I love it, man. That's what we're here for.
Oh,
If everybody has one, damn it, we got ours.
listen, indeed. Let's transition, man. Let's do the unthinkable, and the thing that the biggest hot button in sports today, the LeBron versus Jordan debate.
Oh,
A lot of people are clamoring to hear our viewpoints on it. Um, so I'll let you go first, man. Are you a Jordan guy? You a LeBron guy? Who do you have in the debate?
well, I mean, this is kind of like a non-starter to me, so I'm gonna try to like approach this at a different angle.
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
You know, you know what they say is like widely considered the hardest thing to do in sports.
Hit a baseball. Yep.
See, so
Definitely. 'Cause
that's
if you do it 30% of the time, you're a great hitter.
exactly.
Yep.
So basically, the reason why it's so hard is like the margin for error.
Yeah.
It's like the distance between the bat and the ball when the ball is in the hitting zone is roughly half the width of a SIM card.
Yikes. Yeah, I know. Right. You have very little time to get your hands around and get on top of that baseball.
So, so just kind of bear with me. I'm what the
Yeah,
kids
good.
call it. I'm cooking.
You
over
cooking.
here.
Okay. Go ahead and cook, man.
So, with that in mind,
Yeah.
we're going to talk about 1994.
Okay. Yeah.
So, in 1994, Michael Jordan, double-A outfielder, 31 years old. So, in basketball or athletic years, period, this is kind of like the crest of his prime.
A man's physical prime is between the ages of 25 and 32, scientifically. Yep.
So there we are.
Mm-hmm.
So double-A, for those who want to know, is like considered the upper minors. Like triple-A is like you like real close.
Right.
Double-A is like upper minors.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's not like any Joe six-pack stuff.
Yeah. No. Yeah. You're not playing softball.
So in 1994, Michael Jordan, 202 batting average, not that great.
Right.
3 home runs, 51 RBIs in 127 games. 30 stolen bases, and a terrible 114 strikeouts.
Right.
So don't think I'm just like glazing for no reason. We gonna give the whole story.
Yeah.
But with those numbers in mind, he was 5th in the Southern League with steals with 30.
Mm-hmm.
This is a 6'6" dude, gumpy ass running bases.
Right.
30 steals. Drew 51 walks. And that's like pretty bad when you've been at the plate like 497 times.
Right, yeah. It's not a good on base percentage.
But what people have to keep in mind is that he hadn't played since his senior year in high school, which at that time would have been 13 years.
Yeah.
What's the hardest thing to do in sports?
Hit a baseball.
Okay. And these are people that hit baseballs every day that he's playing with his peers, right?
Yeah, most definitely. And been hitting them their entire lives.
Okay. All right. So during this time in the NBA, Houston Rockets, Hakeem Olajuwon, they go back to back. And, we're not going to disrespect Hakeem Olajuwon. He's a player that gets left out of these conversations, I think.
Outstanding, yeah.
So I won't disrespect the dream. And so I won't say in this time that he wouldn't have gotten one championship.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll never think that he would have beaten the Bulls 2 years in a row.
Yeah, I'm of the opinion he gets no titles if Jordan doesn't retire.
Okay. I was going to leave that out there.
That's a conversation for another day.
So after 127 minor league baseball games, he comes back with 17 games left before the playoffs, after playing baseball,
Yeah.
averages 26.9 points, 6.9 rebounds, 5 assists, about 2 steals. He did shoot 41%, but I mean, he just played 127 baseball games.
Yeah.
But in the playoffs, 31 and a half points a game,
Mm-hmm.
7.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists, 2.3 steals, 48% from the field.
Yeah.
55.7% true shooting percentage.
He was getting back. Yeah. He was getting back to himself.
So the whole thing is he did this after doing what is the hardest thing to do in sports.
Hit a baseball, without a doubt.
And the argument always when it comes to what people kind of reach to, because this seems to be the only thing they can hang on to when they come at the whole argument.
Yeah.
To me, this is the one thing that when I thought
When
about
you
it, that I
hear,
run
yeah.
into the most. Well, you know, when things got tough, he quit. He got tired. He
Right.
couldn't have handled social media.
I know. I heard Brian Windhorst say that.
I mean, I've heard that a lot. I've heard
Yeah.
that over the years by a lot of folks. Windhorst, Nick Wright. I mean, you name it. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? And Michael Jordan quit playing basketball after being the first team to three-peat since the Celtics in the 60s.
Yeah.
The only team to three-peat since
The Lakers. Yeah.
were the Lakers, that was coached by his coach that ran the same offense that he ran, with a player that emulated everything that he tried to do as successfully as anyone has tried to do since, and also with the most dominant center in the last 40, 50 years.
Yeah. Correct.
So when people say that he allegedly left because he couldn't handle whatever,
Mm-hmm.
people leave out the fact that his father was murdered.
Right.
He just three-peated after not cheating the process.
Yeah.
Winning's hard.
It is.
Staying on top is harder.
Mm-hmm.
So what did Michael Jordan choose to do after doing what was pretty much considered at the time impossible in the sport of basketball?
He did it again.
In between that,
Yeah.
while grieving the loss of his father, which I don't wish on my worst enemy.
Right.
You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I do.
He chose to do something that was harder.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Playing basketball got easy to Michael Jordan after winning 3 titles and conquering the Pistons
Right.
and making basketball a global sport with the Dream Team.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
He needed something hard to do.
Yeah.
That's what he used to mourn his father and to fuel him. And then because of that, because that's how he's wired,
Yeah.
he's able to come back after the second point people come with. Oh man, when he came back, they lost. I showed you his numbers in the playoffs.
Yeah.
The team they lost to, again, had the most physically dominant center at 23 years old, and another guard, Penny Hardaway, that was at the time the next Magic Johnson.
Yeah,
and
he
that
was a
team was the
budding-
best team.
A budding superstar. Yeah.
And that team was the best team in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
And they lost to them in 6 games.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is a guy that just came off 127 minor league baseball games, the last 17 games of the season. Like, okay, we just gonna throw the balls out and play.
Yeah.
What happened the next year when they played that same Orlando Magic
They
team
swept him.
that was 60-22? Mind you, that season, Shaquille O'Neal missed almost 25 games with an abdomen strain, and they were still 60-22.
Yeah.
So, you know, everybody want to talk that they didn't play anybody. They got swept.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did. They annihilated them.
So,
and then Jordan, he put up 45 in the elimination game on purpose.
so I'll close to say Michael Jordan will always be the answer to me, because he always chooses the harder way.
Mm-hmm.
He never ran from the harder way. And when he became the final boss, no one else had a chance, bro. Like
Yeah.
there were no dynasties. You wasn't gonna set up no dynasty on Michael Jordan's watch shooting jump shots.
Right.
It wasn't gonna happen, bro.
Yeah.
Like point blank, period. And LeBron James, phenomenal player.
Yeah. Outstanding.
Um, I mean, you know, there's not much you can say that he hasn't done. You
Yeah.
get what I'm saying? But the one thing that he hasn't done is, I mean, there's a few,
Oh yeah. No, there's a lot of things he hasn't done,
but I'll
but
just
he's
like,
done a lot though. He's
but I
an
mean, I'll just,
incredible player.
yeah, but I'll just cherry pick the simple one: league MVP,
Mm-hmm.
All-Star MVP,
Mm-hmm.
Finals MVP, all in the same season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Shaquille O'Neal did it once.
Yeah.
Willis Reed did it once.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jordan did it 4 times.
Yeah. Yep.
LeBron James,
Yeah. No.
23 years,
Right.
going into year 23. I don't think he's going to play 23 more years.
No.
So if we're still talking in year 22, going into year 23, about if he does this,
Right. Yeah.
he's this little bit away. He's this much away from passing.
Yeah. A guy who played 13 healthy seasons.
Then the argument is just the argument for arguing's sake. And for the sake of this argument, I will always choose Michael Jordan until I see better.
Yep.
My friend, I yield.
Yeah. So I obviously I agree with that. I like that assessment. Um, you know, so I am in the Michael Jordan is the GOAT camp. I definitely am. With that being said, I would always start any commentary by saying LeBron is certainly a great player. You know,
Facts.
I believe that he is a top 3 player of all time if he doesn't play any more basketball. That's my personal opinion. Some people that like he ain't top 10. I don't even.
That's nuts.
That's insane.
That's
Yeah.
nuts.
I'm like LeBron is a top 3 player.
Yeah, like come back to earth.
Yeah, I mean, I have him number 2. The only player that I would accept you putting above him is Kareem. That's it. Nobody else is above
Wow.
him with respect to accomplishments.
Well, I see.
I'm just talking accomplishments.
Yeah, well,
I'm
I mean,
not-
but then again, you
Yeah.
said this is your opinion.
Yeah.
Right, I get you. All right, fine,
So,
yo.
but there are a lot of myths among the LeBron James diehard fan base. Now, the reason I say diehard fan bases and not just fan bases because I consider myself a LeBron James fan. I consider myself a fan. So I'm just not a mindless sycophant. For many years, and let me also tell you this. Let me start with the ending. I have no emotional attachment to Michael Jordan. I rooted for many years for LeBron to surpass him in everything. And if he did, I'd be the first one to tell you, like, yeah, LeBron just did it better. But he just didn't. This is year 22. 22 healthy seasons of basketball. Michael Jordan played 13 healthy seasons of basketball. Now, you look him up, it says 15, but he broke his foot in his second year, and he came back on a shortened season in 95, and like you said, played 17 games. So the common myth number 1 is that LeBron has passed Michael Jordan in everything. Because this is year 22 and Michael Jordan has been retired for 22 years, I'll give you 22 ways in which he has not.
Oh, talk to me now.
Michael Jordan averages more points per game, more playoff points per game, more blocks per game, more steals per game. He has more total steals. He has a higher player efficiency rating in both the regular season and playoffs. He has a higher box plus minus in both the regular season and playoffs. He has a higher win share per 48 minutes in both the regular season and playoffs. He has a better offensive rating. He has a better defensive rating. He has more scoring titles, more steals titles, more title titles, as in championships. He's got more finals MVPs, more league MVPs, more first team all defensive selections. He's got a defensive player of the year. LeBron doesn't. He's got 2 dunk titles. LeBron has none. He's never even competed. He's got more 40-point games, more 50-point games, more 60-point games, and more 40-plus point per game playoff series. That was, if you count, that was 23. But I consider championships a team accomplishment. So I, that's not really an individual accomplishment. And notice I ain't say 6 rings anywhere, because 6 championship success is the icing on the cake. But if you play 22 years, LeBron is going to probably end up playing a
25 years,
a quarter century of healthy basketball. You should be in front of the guy who played 13 healthy seasons in everything. I shouldn't be able to run, and I could have kept going. I stopped because the number 22 is symbolic. So he hasn't passed him in everything. He hasn't passed him in many things. And again, he's going to play a quarter century of healthy basketball. The second myth is that LeBron is the better all-around player. Now, again, is LeBron a better playmaker? Yes, because that was his role. So his role was to have the ball in his hands. But to say that he's the better all-around player, that would mean that he had a greater impact on winning, which again, we just gave you the numbers. There's numbers that measure that. Offensive rating, defensive rating, player efficiency rating, box plus minus. He's behind Jordan in all of them. So that again, that you can tell me he's the better all-around player because he averages more rebounds and assists, but Jordan averages again more points per game, more steals per game, more blocks per game, and fewer turnovers. How is LeBron the better all-around player? They shoot virtually the same field goal percentage. They're within a point of each other. And Jordan was taking tougher mid-range shots, and most of LeBron's shots are within 3 feet of the rim. Now, I'm not going to penalize him for being able to get to the rim at will, but that's still impressive when you got one guy whose shot chart is mostly mid-range shots, which are analytically considered to be the most difficult. That's not my opinion. Like that analytics says that mid-range shots are lower percentage shots that shouldn't be taken. That's why when you watch an NBA game today, 2 things are happening. Number one, they're playing drop coverage. That's the most common coverage in the NBA right now. Run you off the 3-point line and defend the rim. What are they forcing you to do? Take a mid-range jumper. That's why the guys with the best mid-range games are the best scorers in the league.
A harder shot.
I.e., Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is about to win the MVP, and he's a mid-range player. The best scorers are mid-range players, guys like Kevin Durant, because they can dribble into 17, 15 feet and pull up and get something. They can get the half hooks, the runners. The mid-range game is considered to be the most difficult, which is why defenses play you for mid-range. So again, the third myth is that LeBron's longevity is the decision maker. I'm going to talk about something called the law of diminishing returns. And I'll tell you what that is. It's adding more input to a production process, and it says that adding more input to a production process will eventually result in a decrease in output. The law of diminishing returns can also be used to explain why doing more of the same can stop working as expected. That's right from the economic. That's right from economics 101 or basic economics, right? The longer LeBron plays and he trails in all of these categories that I name, the better Michael Jordan looks, having accomplished what he did in 13 healthy seasons. Again, 13 healthy seasons. He's going to end up playing half of the healthy seasons. Longevity, again, he's doing the same thing over and over again. And by the way, he's accumulating a lot of negative stats too, like the most turnovers, most missed shots, most missed 2-point shots in the playoffs, most missed 3-point shots in the playoffs, most lost series,
but Jason,
most lost games.
He's a pass first player.
Whatever. again, we talking about impact on winning. That's good. Be a pass first player. Be all of that. He's got a lower offensive
You
rating,
know
a
that's a
lower
bunch of BS, and you
and a
know
lower defensive rating. I mean, again, I'm not even here to refute that. I'm just giving facts
I know. I'm
because
sorry.
because the problem is that there's a lot of fantasy in the LeBron James diehard fan community. That's why niggas is making songs and
Videos with choirs.
choirs
God.
and they singing and they dancing and they crying about LeBron. Like this is why you see all of these histrionics online.
Bunch of nerds.
Because there's a bunch of mythology around LeBron that he's being deified. That's why he has a media apparatus at his within his control.
To your point, the one LeBron song the dude did where they sampled the T-Pain. Can't believe it. Hey, if that catch you off guard, like
Man, listen, I was
you would
laughing,
find
bro.
yourself laughing
No,
for a hot 10, 15.
I laughed hard.
Oh,
And then the
Lord.
final myth that I'm going to deal with now, because there's many more myths, but the game's evolution automatically makes LeBron the superior player. So I do personally believe that the NBA contains better trained athletes now.
For sure.
Whether or not they are more skilled is up for debate, but that's a conversation for another day, right? Factually, though, sports science and training have improved because that time does that. But even if that's true, it has to mean that he's also playing with better players. LeBron fans, they love to talk about the competition, but never talk about the help. Jordan, for example, had a teammate average 25 points per game in a playoff series with him in his career one time. Anthony Davis did it with LeBron 6 times. And they still, including back-to-back series against Denver where they took one game. Kyrie did it for him 5 times, averaged 25 points or more, including in the 2017 finals, Kyrie averaged over 29 points per game.
Oh, and hit the game winner in 2016.
Yeah, that was 16. But in 17, he averaged over 29 points.
Yeah, for sure.
They mustered one game.
Yep.
With a teammate averaging over 25 points per game. Dwayne Wade did it for him 3 times, including in 2011 when LeBron James turned into Joe Johnson, late career Joe Johnson.
You know, that was no longer a big 3 now, according to Rich Paul, too.
Yeah, I know that. Don't get me started. Again, this is why he's got a media apparatus. He got people running around doing interviews. He wants to change the narrative generically to him being the GOAT. And that's not how it works. And you know, when you got guys in the media, I'm not gonna call no names, but they act like Jordan was a creation. No, the numbers that I just gave you are real.
Yeah,
those are real
work.
Yeah, those are real numbers. Those are not created numbers. They're not fictitious numbers. Those are the real numbers. Those 22 categories that I espouse. You can look those up. You can verify them for yourself. He's in front of him in all of those ways. And I could have kept going. Michael Jordan is all over the NBA history books playing 13 healthy seasons. The last point that I'll make is basketball is a game of averages. It is not a game of totals. Only when LeBron entered the chat did
hold on, wait a minute. Can you say that one more time? That was profound.
Basketball is a game of averages. It's not a game of totals. Only when LeBron entered the discussion did we start trying to turn basketball into baseball. With most totals, and he got these total home runs and total art. That's baseball. This is basketball. And what do I mean? At the end of the season, the scoring title goes to the person with the highest scoring average. Rebounding title, block title, assist title, same. Now you would say, isn't that the same thing? No,
No.
it's not the same thing. 2023, Joel Embiid had 2,179 total points. Jason Tatum had 2,222 total points. He had more total points, but Joel Embiid had a higher scoring average, so he won the scoring title. It's a game of averages. Nobody really cares what your total is. Nobody looking like, man, Nikola
But-
Jokic had 3,000 points.
But Jason, wait a minute now. Wait, LeBron James has the most points, right?
Yeah,
Ever, right?
sure.
How many years has he played?
22.
So he had to like win some scoring titles
Yeah, he
en route to
won-
all those points.
He won 1. Michael Jordan won 10, which is really the most unbreakable scoring record.
How
in
many?
the
How
NBA.
many Jordan? How many seasons did Michael Jordan? play?
13 healthy seasons.
Out of 10 of those, he was.
Yeah, he was
Scoring
He was
champ.
the scoring champ. He won 7 consecutive.
And then you said 22 and 1.
Yeah.
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 Oh.
Yeah. 22 seasons, 1 scoring title. And again, none of this is to denigrate LeBron, but he's going to end up playing with more Hall
No,
of
you're not.
Famers.
You're denigrating the myth, right?
Yes,
That's
I'm,
what you're
I'm
doing.
knocking
the
the
myth.
myths.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
not LeBron. LeBron is
Hashtag
great.
the myth. I got that. Like how you snuck that in there.
Yeah, I like it.
Dig
He's going to end up playing with more Hall of Famers than anybody not named Bill Russell. There have been 119 trades that have been made on rosters that have contained LeBron James.
Yeah.
119. They turn over the roster every year, and that was before they got Luka.
And the write-ups for anxiety meds amongst his teammates go up through the roof every January and February.
Yeah, I mean,
Guaranteed.
of course, because you expendable. But no, and again, LeBron is a great player. I'm sure you could come up with a number of categories in which LeBron leads Michael Jordan. All NBA selections, all-star selections.
Oh, I've heard
Again,
him in song.
Yeah, listen, and we know. But the problem is, though, is that if you play a quarter century of healthy basketball, you're supposed to lead in just about everything. To be behind in that many, and again, statistically, I could have kept going. There's many more ways in which he's behind. Michael Jordan is the only player in history to win the league MVP, finals MVP, make first team all defense, and win the scoring title in the same season. He did that 4 times. He's the only player to ever do it. He's the only player to ever win a scoring title, a defensive player of the year award, a finals MVP, and a league MVP.
That's kind of stupid.
Only player to ever do that.
That's kind of stupid.
He's the only in so many different respects that I'm not even going to sit here and bore you with all of it.
Yeah, but I mean, because like 23 years of being the GOAT, you should like stumble upon doing these things a few
You should-
times, right?
Once,
You would think, right?
a few,
I mean-
once.
I mean, you figure
Give
at
me
least
one.
twice.
Yeah, never.
You know,
It's never happened.
kind of like if you go to the finals 10 times, you'd probably stumble on 4 titles if you got
Yeah.
those teammates you mentioned. in
Correct.
those.
Yeah. And,
Okay.
and
I'm sorry.
yeah, no, you're right.
I'm kind of good at connecting dots.
Yeah, that and this is the thing. So the winning that Michael Jordan did is an accoutrement to all of his individual
who?
an accoutrement
I'm
or
about
an
to
accessory or
Google that
it's an
shit later.
aside to all of his individual accomplishments, which are numerous in 13 healthy seasons. He dominated in 13 healthy seasons. And again, if you want to tell me that LeBron is playing in a more evolved league with better players, then he's playing against better players, but he's playing with better players too. Jordan didn't have as many Hall of Fame teammates as LeBron. LeBron has had 3 power forwards that are going to be in the Hall of Fame. One of them already is, in Chris Bosh, that are going to be in the Hall of Fame in their prime.
No, but there weren't a big 3 in Miami.
In their prime, he had 3 power forwards alone. That's one position that will end up in Anthony Davis, Kevin Love, and Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh already in the Hall of Fame.
True.
Anthony Davis is already a top 75 player, which makes him a shoe-in for the Hall of Fame.
True.
And Kevin Love will also make it.
Yeah, because it's the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
They'll factor in his college and Olympic accolades.
Yeah, but
and
even
his
man,
numbers in Minnesota.
yeah, I was
it
gonna say,
gaudy
yeah,
numbers.
like
Yeah, for sure.
they was gaudy. So, yeah. So if you tell me that he's playing in a more evolved league, basketball that's fine. He's playing with more evolved players. So there's really no excuse. There's really no excuse. I mean, he should have won more. And then finally, the 2011 meltdown, man.
Oh Lord.
I mean,
I
in
mean,
your prime,
see, I was trying to stay away from, but
Yeah.
go ahead.
2011
Go off.
meltdown in your prime as the favorite, that's not excusable.
No. Context is everything. 2011, you were the favorite on the hand-picked team that you constructed
Yes.
with, again, 2 Hall of Famers.
Yep.
Like, they weren't the favorite. They were the heavy favorite.
Oh, yeah.
They were coming in with a sub page on ESPN's website called the Heat Index.
Yeah.
Like, no. Like, this is important. Like,
Yeah.
no one was ever given Dallas a chance to win. Their second best player, Caron Butler, was hurt.
Yeah.
That was the corpse of Jason Kidd out there
Yeah.
playing.
All right.
And
Jason
Sean
Kidd was
Marion.
38 years old.
Yeah, this wasn't the Sean Marion from 2002, 2001.
No way.
This was, after like multiple knee injuries, Sean Marion and Deshaun Stevenson.
Yeah.
And they lost to, this is your hand selected crew.
Yeah. And Dwayne Wade said they had no answer for JJ Barea.
You ain't even supposed to say that out loud.
I don't want to hear nothing about a more evolved league. Frankly, I mean, I wasn't gonna go there, but stop it.
And then, hey, you know what? They'll kind of, to kind of like put a partial bow on it to kind of go back to earlier after the 2011 thing. Who LeBron go see in the summer?
King? Did he go see a King?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, the footwork man from the 90s. But at any rate, okay, so that was the Jordan LeBron breakdown, man.
That was kind of painful and a little cathartic too.
Yeah, it was. And again, I can already feel the LeBron trolls. I feel y'all, you're revving up. I know it.
Yeah,
but we want all the smoke, and this is everybody has one, man. So I'm sure you got one too. Let's do some real rapid fire, man. Pistons, Knicks, man. Who you got and how many games?
Well, man, the homer in me says Pistons in 6.
That's what I say too.
The occasional pessimist in me and says Pistons in 7.
There it is. I got Pistons in 6, man. The Pistons, it was very funny. The Pistons are not allowing anybody outside of a particular coverage area to purchase tickets to the game. I do too.
I love that.
No disrespect to my New York Knicks fans. I do like to visit New York on occasion, but we don't want your musty fans here.
Yeah.
Funking up our arena. We don't want Spike Lee sitting courtside dressed like a Teletubby distracting our players, man.
Beat it with them Sally Jesse Raphael glasses
right,
on.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Stay in New York. Stay at MSG.
Tracy Morgan, we don't need you barfing courtside.
Yeah, right.
None of that.
Yeah, we don't keep your fans in your arena, and we'll have our fans in our arena. So, yep, we both.
I'm excited though.
Yeah, I am too.
I'm excited because the thing about it is, last time we were in the playoffs, we kind of knew we were just going to get slaughtered by Milwaukee.
Yeah,
and that's precisely what happened.
Yeah,
my only takeaway from that series is that was the series that made me respect Blake Griffin.
Yeah,
as a basketball player.
Yeah,
because he was on some warrior tip. That series on one leg, but that's it. Outside of that, nothing else was up. Like that was just a bad watch. So this time, like I truly feel that we can beat the Knicks. Now a lot has to go right, in terms of execution wise, and the Knicks are very capable of. I mean, they're capable of beating the Pistons in 5 games.
Of course,
You,
yeah,
you know what I'm
they
saying?
capable.
Like they are. Like Jalen Brunson can go nuclear.
Yeah, he can.
Like he can't. Carl Anthony Towns, hell, Miles Bridges, Mikal Bridges.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
yeah, I like
Mikal
Mikal.
Bridges can go nuclear and out of nowhere and go 7 for 9 for 3 and have 32 points. Out of
And they
nowhere.
can throw bodies at Cade.
Yeah.
That's the other
So,
thing.
but again, I just think the Pistons. It's something that happened with the Knicks when they made that trade for Carl Anthony Towns, where it was like a trade off, where they got offensive production,
Yep.
a little more uh, stability on offense. I would say consistent high level scoring from Towns,
Yep.
but I think they traded off some toughness.
Mm-hmm.
I think in the playoffs that matters.
Yeah. Kind of like Dame to Milwaukee a little.
Yeah,
You kind of felt you kind of felt the toughness kind of.
And I just exactly.
Yeah.
And I just think that we can play a high level, tough brand of basketball for longer intervals than the Knicks. Even though the Knicks play their stars longer amounts of time, I just think it's in us to just
second highest, second best team defensive rating since the turn of the year, since January. So
I think a lot of games will come down to late free throws.
Yep.
I think that'll be huge. Late free throws for Duren, Thompson.
Yep.
I think the kid Holland's going to see a lot of minutes. I think Garden, Brunson. I think.
Yep.
So late game free throw shooting, I think, could be something to keep the eye
on. Is KD gonna end up back in Phoenix next year? What's his fate, man? Real fast.
I mean, from all the little blurbs that I've read and whispers, they're saying he's played his last game in Phoenix.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Now, if you want to talk tinfoil Kofi, bring his ass here.
Hey man, I'm with it.
Hey, if we can keep Asar Thompson and get Kevin Durant,
I'm not
man.
The only thing is I'm not bailing Phoenix out of their situation.
Right? Though. Yeah, no.
I'm not giving you 4 draft picks or nothing stupid. You can get that out your head, Phoenix.
Nah, not that. Yeah. But if we can get
maybe a second rounder,
if we can get a decent package,
yeah,
I would gladly take Kevin Durant. I ain't one of them dudes. Oh man, he goes somewhere they ain't going. Kevin.
Yeah, come on down, bro. We need an athletic wing scorer.
Man. What?
And then finally, let me hit you with the Jameson Williams rumors, the trade rumors. Is he getting traded?
I heard
is that
he's
just
walking
bluster?
in the door. Now fill me in on what you've heard, because I swear to God, like when we walked in the door and you were mentioning that, that was like news to me.
So let me tell you that some sites and some articles that I saw had the trade happening. That's why people got in an uproar.
Like in rap or
I you know what? Don't give me the site and the source. It obviously turned
Shefty?
out not. It obviously turned out not to be true. So I don't want to. I don't want to give the source away.
Okay.
Because I don't know that it. First of all, I don't know that it was a specific source.
Okay.
I just saw some articles.
Okay.
And I'm like, wait a minute, because I saw somebody post something like, Lions, no, you know what I'm saying? Like it's some kind of a panic post about the Lions. And so, I just quickly Googled Detroit Lions and I saw Jameson Williams traded, you know what I'm saying? And then,
so for what?
Right. I didn't even get that deep into it.
Right. I'm like,
because
what?
I started trying to verify whether or not he had been traded. Yeah, I'm obviously I'm not a proponent of trading Jameson Williams.
What's the psyche behind that?
I think that they need some other stuff. I mean, like everybody keeps they keep fighting.
I mean,
about that. All of the Lions, let Brad cook and all. I'm like, listen, you still need a defensive tackle, bro.
Bro, we're 25th in the league in the pass rush.
Yeah, we gotta get it right. And I understand that Hutch was hurt. That's gonna harm us. I don't think we've re-signed Zadarius yet.
No, not yet. He just out there stunting with cash now.
Yeah, so I'm like, what?
I ain't mad at it though.
We need we need that edge rushing presence. And I don't know whether this draft is not looking all that promising. I mean, there are some projects.
What they got? 6, 7 picks, 7 picks.
Yeah, but
7 picks.
this is a weak draft.
Yeah. Mm.
By all of the reporting. I mean, we've heard that before, and then we've seen tremendous players come out of the draft, but
Mhm.
this is supposedly a weak draft. After the kid from Boston College, and I apologize, I can't call his name right now. He's supposed to be the next best edge rusher behind the kid from Penn State.
Okay.
But after him though,
It's thin.
it's thin.
That's
It's not
good.
looking great for interior or interior defensive linemen or edge rushers. So
That's tough.
yeah, we're gonna keep our eyes on that. Tigers is still going well. Yeah, they dropped a couple to
Yeah, got knocked around a little bit.
Milwaukee
A lot
to the
of
Brewers. Yeah. So I mean, it's just so hard, man. 18 games into a 162 game season.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're still in second place.
Yeah, I think we'll be fine.
What are they doing right now against the Brewers?
You know what? That's a good question. Let's jump on over there, man, since we talking about it, and just take a quick peek at that scoreboard.
But I mean, what's we got? Spencer.
They up 4-0 on the Royals.
Okay. I mean, Spencer.
Top of the 8th.
Spencer Torkelson, 6 home runs.
Yeah.
You gotta love that. I mean, like I said, I just hope he can sustain it and maintain it. Tarek Skubal, back to back starts with 6 scoreless innings.
Yeah, no, yeah. He pitched great. He's pitching great. Yeah, because the first one, I mean, again, against the Dodgers, I'm like, listen, guys, a lot of people going to Chavez Ravine and getting swept this year.
Yeah, for sure.
So is that they might have the best lineup in baseball. They definitely have one of the best pitching staffs. I mean, that's a hard place to go and win.
Oh man, yeah.
Red Wings missed the playoffs again.
Oh,
is that something? Is it nothing? Are we questioning Stevie Y? What's
man? The Red Wings, bro. Well, here's the thing that confuses me about the Red Wings is that they seem to overinvest in these veterans that's kind of past their prime, and neglect their younger players. You know what I mean? I don't. I guess they're trying to like marry the two.
Yeah.
But it just hasn't been working, bro. Like it like the whole Patrick Kane thing. That's no. And then the one good thing that I can say, they're younger players. They're key players, I should say. They do have them on long-term contracts.
Yeah.
So Larkin, Raymond,
Mo Sider,
and also oh goodness, Alex DeBrincat.
Yeah. I like that. I like that name.
So I mean, they have those locked up under for the long term. So that's good.
Yeah, that is.
They're good in terms of the cap.
Yeah.
We're about 25 million under the cap, if I'm not mistaken. And also the thing about the Red Wings too, they have trouble scoring. They don't really have like game breakers.
Right.
Like, when the Red Wings were winning, they were backline tough, but we also had speed. We had the best speed. We had the fastest skaters. That was the whole thing. They was trying to figure out like how and where in Russia are they finding all these fast skaters. So I mean, that's something as well. But let's see. They should get a 10 million reduction in payroll.
Okay.
So I mean, they can kind of recoup some of that. That'll be from the unrestricted free agents.
Yep.
And yeah, man, I think Stevie Y has kind of got to change the script because this is year 8 that year 9 that we've not made the playoffs. That's like the third longest active streak ever, third or fourth. So, we got to try something different. Some's got to give.
And then finally, man, we having a draft party, man. Everybody has one.
Yeah.
Check the social sites.
Check
our pages, man. We're gonna throw something up on YouTube. Y'all, man, come holla at us. Come rock with us. It'll be a great time.
Should be fun, man.
We're gonna do a lot of talking, but we also gonna do a lot of mingling, and we gonna do a lot of
Are we gonna get some of the people's input on
yeah.
what's going on
Man,
with the
listen,
draft? You want to do that?
I would love to hear from the people, man. If you in the place, man, we'll put you on the camera and let you talk, man. And because this is everybody has one, so everybody gets an opportunity to give their opinion. So
Yeah, man, it's gonna be a thing,
it's
man.
gonna be great, man. But so check us out next time. We appreciate all of the love. Keep clicking, keep liking, keep loving, doing all of that, man. Everybody has one podcast. Peace.
Peace.